Hello, pirate. You see nothing. You see nothing at all. Let's swap over. Do I want? Is this? I'm like, what scene do I want? I don't know. Hello. Oh no, I summoned a Susie. Hi. Hello, everyone. There's a Susie here. Oh my god. Stand someplace else where your tail is not hitting the table, please. Hello. Um, Sweetheart. I'll move the camera in just a second. But hi, pirate. Hi, Leaf. Showed up at the perfect time to see a Susie. Ideally, a Susie whose tail will stop hitting the table. Just trying to lift my leg up there so that... There you go. Yes. Stand. I mean, everybody can see your butt. Well done. But yes, there's a Susie here because of course there is. As you might be able to tell, I've now moved things again. Oh my god, dog. Like, just stand someplace besides there. It's funny, somebody in one of the building has what I think is a German Shepherd puppy, and it was real funny because it is little right now. And they ran into Susan, they're like, her tail hurts. And I'm like, yes, this is what happens with certain types of dogs, especially, I feel, most often larger dogs. You're like, I have a whip for a tail. I'm going over tomorrow, so I will be there. I'm just not there yet. Because I got some things to do. And I also just planned terribly. Which is on me. So, we're going to finish the quilt tonight. All we have left to do is the binding. I was working on some other stuff, so that's this mess that's behind me right now. I'll turn the light in a second so you don't have this bright light in the back. Funny story, I had to move everything. Not everything, but you can see the camera here. I had to move the arm that it's on and the camera and the light and stuff because the way I had it set up when I was sewing little things was fine. Not great for trying to push a whole quilt through, even a baby quilt. So, Susie, your tail is so loud, dog. Go on. Go, 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 go. Go. So anyways, that's what we're going to do tonight. So we're going to finish the quilt. We're going to get a couple other things potentially done. If I don't get them done, it's fine. I have a suitcase that is open with a bunch of stuff thrown on it, not in it. So that's my other thing I have to get finished between tonight and tomorrow. So, it's fine. Everything's fine. Real quick, Susie, I didn't move the mouse over here. I want to see the user list. Is Cypher here? Yes or no? Susie deciding she wants attention right now is really not. I do not think. No Cypher. Yes, okay. Perfect. So I can show you all. It's not done yet. But so our sign that I'm going to make it prettier. This is just the base sign. Which of course the light here is not great for you all to be able to read. So one side of the sign. The other side of the sign, hopefully it's readable. And then the extra pieces. Hold on, it gets better. I'll have to plan appropriately as I move from panel to panel and talk to talk. If this happens, I'm prepared. And I want you all to know that Steve is the other side of death. And then I have a couple little like paint mixing sticks that I'll I have my glue gun out here, so I'll put all this together and what have you. I'll touch this up to make it a little prettier. Right now, like the death I put took the marker to multiple times, the rest I haven't yet, what have you. In an effort to have a comedic sign, and I guarantee you, if I'm not already on the I'm going to die list, this is going to cause it. Oh, absolutely. This is going to every panel with me so that I'm prepared in a variety. And like, it would be really funny if one where I'm not thinking and I'm like, oh, like let's say I have Steve up and I'm like, I meant to have Beware Feels incoming, and instead it says Beware Steve incoming, because we know that's exactly what's going to happen. So yes, I'm making signs to use during my panels, because this is who I am as a person. And I regret none of this. So yes. So welcome. These are the things that if I have enough time to think about, I will do in advance of stuff. I usually do not plan well enough in advance for this, but I happen to have these things sitting around. Was like, yeah, I could do this. Hey Dre, welcome in. So I'm gonna shift the camera a second, because right now, and then I'll go turn the light. I'm clipping the binding to the quilt, was what I was doing. I have not put the extension cable on this particular camera. I guess, hold on, let's see. I'm like, can I bring everything closer? Into darkness, roll with me here, camera. There we go. Almost. I forgot to put the extension cable on this camera, so this camera's like, nah. Can it? Okay. I'm like, can it be here? Ideally, with you all not ending up with weird angles and things. So, while I'm clipping everything together, clipping the... There, we'll put it off frame. So that I have the light, but it's not blinding you all. But yes, so the quilt, which you all saw, the quilt top, it has all been constructed. It has now been... you can see the wavy lines, maybe. It's been sewn through. And we're putting our binding on, is what we're doing today. But yeah. Oh, I'm an absolute nerd. And I do nonsense things all the time. You all just don't normally get to see it because, like, we're very focused on a project or something while we're on stream. So yeah, the little paint mixing sticks that you used, and it's fine. This is all fine. This is who I am. Prince, yeah, Leaf knows. Leaf has dealt with me enough in real life that there is pretends to be shocked. Is probably the most accurate way of putting it. But yeah, so we're gonna get the quilt. This is the last thing we have to do. Besides, I'll take a lint roller and iron to it again, which I can easily do tomorrow. So we will do this. This sign I will probably finish cleaning up, making the letters thicker and a little easier to read from distance and what have you. Tomorrow as well. We'll see. I thought about, full disclosure here is, I actually could have had this done last night. But after Monday and Tuesday kind of power sewing and what have you, I was kind of like, you know what, I'm going to give myself a night off. And I sat in Pirates chat during All Influencer Wrestling, and I I read a book and I lurked. What about you? This is, I don't know how the lighting is not great in this particular placement, but hopefully it's this, as we've continually said, some of my biggest challenges is lighting as I move. You'll probably see it better once I actually take it to the machine. This is a pastel rainbow fabric, and you can't see, but it has little stars and dots on it. Welcome in, Puddle Glum. So I tried to move the lighting closer, the light, so you could see it better, and that just made it all worse. Made it too light. You can kind of get a feel for it. This is a baby quilt. It is going to a family who are having, I believe, their first baby. And it's a girl. So, alright. Unfortunately, I was not thinking and did not properly set up the camera for me being at this table. So the cables, the wires. This is one of the things I will say is one reason why I would hope one day I will maybe justify or splurge, who knows, to try and have a more modular setup. Because my biggest frustration is that or I'd have to have like a million different cameras and totally different lighting, which is an entirely separate problem. In terms of, where are you at? There you are. Where are you, Clip? I know you're here somewhere. In terms of being able to kind of shift between the different spaces and the different things that I do, and that's a little bit of the frustration here. Is that is, it also doesn't help that a bunch of things sitting up here. So let's just move you out of the way. I think I thought I was going to do more ironing than I actually was. Yeah, well, thank you. I try to, I don't know if I still have the photo on my phone. You all didn't get to see it, so obviously you've seen the front of the quilt. The back is this really simple kind of gray with swirly circles. So a print, but a basic print. But I found this absolutely obnoxious fabric that for fun, when I was picking out fabrics and sending it to the person who had commissioned this, to say, what about this, what about that? It's the type of fabric that if you used it, either you're going for a very specific sort of look, or you are intentionally doing something where people are going to go, why would you have done this? What was this person thinking? But I thought it was really funny, and it would have been fun. So I don't know if I kept the photo of that fabric or not. I'll have to take a look at my phone and see. If I did, I will show it to you all. But yeah, so we'll get this done tonight. I'll probably, like I said, save the sign for a little bit later. The other thing is I haven't packed yet either. So, well, I have a pile of things to be packed that are sitting on on top of the suitcase. So, not really prepared, but a little prepared. Is this? I think it should. I feel like this isn't going to be long enough, but every other time it has been. But yeah, how's everyone doing this Thursday? For those of you who work in government or corporate 9-to-5 jobs, I hope you're getting a 3-day weekend and are excited for a 3-day weekend. It's what I hope. It's what I hope. who knows? But it's the kind of thing where I'm like, if the parents are happy and it's something that they get use out of this for, you know, a few years, then I've done good. Obviously, of course, you want them to have it forever, but like, you know. All right. Now, most times when I do this first round of binding to the front, I do so like one side at a time. But this time I was like, no, I'm going to do it all in one go, which is slightly more challenging. Did the music? Like music, have you stopped already? What did I walk over here for? Oh, I was like, what am I looking for? I need more of my clips. All right, so here we're gonna fold. Oh no, come on. I'm not folding this very well, but I am folding it. There we go. Yeah, anything else? The sign I'll get done because that's mostly done. That just requires basically the glue gun and the I need to like take the marker. I haven't decided if it's worth trying to add any like fun little embellishments to the sign or if I'm better off just leaving it as simple as possible so it's hopefully easier to read. You over here. But we'll get there. This one did end up, ironically, near perfect. And I say near, but I trimmed, it was a little uneven, but I trimmed, what, Susie? I trimmed the extra batting and backing from the edges. And I measured it, and it was, like, I've had a few where it's wildly off, like an inch difference from one side of the quilt to the other, or like one edge to the other. But not this time. What? Susie feels very strongly about something right now. I don't know what you want from me. We just went on a walk. You've been fed. You have water. Susie's life is the hardest. She suffers so much, y'all. But yeah, so we're gonna make the sign. We're gonna finish the quilt. The sign will get done. I was thinking about, I haven't inked the blue and pink dice that I demolded on stream a week ago. What is time? I don't remember when it was. It was like some time ago. At some point in the semi-recent past, I did that on stream. And I was trying to figure out if I could prep them to go with me for the game in which I will die at Aresia. If I wasn't going to die before when Cypher sees this sign, that will absolutely sign my death. I just accepted it, that I was going to do this, and then maybe regret it later. But probably not, let's be honest here. Once this quilt is done, I only have one more. Well, technically I have 3 more, but only one more that's like I need to get to somebody else. One is of the other 2 One is for myself, so that'll happen whenever I feel like it happening, which might not even be this year. And the other is for my parents. But since they don't even know about it, they'll get it whenever I decide to do it and they get it. So there's no deadline on that. Susie's just being weird. Alright. But yeah, I gotta finish packing. I'll be at a region all weekend. Monday stream is TBD, y'all. I think I will probably aim to be back mid-afternoon, just so that I have plenty of time to pick up Susie, be relaxed, get settled, what have you. But alright, so we will leave this last little bit. I won't finish off the tail of it, just because we'll deal with that in a second. So let me switch. I'm just gonna do the BRB for a second so I can move the camera and not like accidentally knock it over. Which almost just happened, y'all. And then I've swapped machines as well for reasons. Oof. You know what, y'all? I filled a glass of water and then I didn't bring it in here with me. So hold on a sec while I go find that. But we are legit. I think next week will be games, playing games. We will not do crafty things on stream. To give me a break. So obviously we started early tonight. The goal is that I finish early so that I can pack. Susie, this was not a summoning. Hold on. Susie wants pets again. Here, let me, if I switch to, is it the right height for you all to see a Susie? It is. Here's a Susie. Here, being a Susie. Disregard the scrap fabric from what I cut off on the floor. I promise this will all get cleaned up, but I kind of live in a disaster when I'm finishing a project and then I deal with all of it afterwards. Come here. Do you want to see? Why do you keep turning away from the camera? Will you not? Yes, I am petting you. So this is Susie. Like that, Puddleglum. You all might be able to hear her tail hitting the table. Okay, we're done. Nope, that's too loud. Go. Yes. Go to your bed. So, Susie, I was not scheduled for. Yeah, Susie's like, I do what I want, Mom. It's wild to think that we've had Susie for, by we I mean I, for now 6 years going on 7 years. We're getting old. That's why you have a lot of gray hairs in your face now. Alright, go to your bed. Or at least go away. One of these options. So a couple things real quick, as you all can see. I'm going to apologize now that this is not an ideal looking setup at the moment. I had to shift everything to make space for the quilts. And it meant the light moved, the cameras moved. Which by itself is not a problem, it's just mildly frustrating. So let me tilt, oh, there we go. so that you can see the wire here. Normally I would prefer it be off screen for the top-down view. Again, why a modular setup would be nice. Okay, so let me bring this over. Maybe it'll look better here where y'all can see it. The lighting here where you can better see, it's still not great, but it's basically a pastel rainbow of colors with little white stars and dots on them. Alright, so that's the top. We want the bottom, which is where the stop and finish is. I've already put the tag on it, so that's there. And now we just have to sew the binding on, y'all. Now, obviously, I'm using a different machine right now. That is because the Singer Heavy Duty that I was sewing everything on before does not have the particular stitch, wavy stitch that I like using for these. Well, crap. I think this will be good enough. Where did I just put you, ruler? You. Meh. Okay. But I hope everyone is doing well this Thursday and you have a relaxing or a good or whatever you want it to be weekend planned. As noted, I leave tomorrow for Aresia, and we'll be doing multiple panels and events all weekend, but I'll get to see Pirate and Cypher and DM Jazzy Hands, and there will be Nonsense, which is always fun. I have pretty much everything prepped. The only, well, I mean, let's rephrase this. Everything related to the con prepped except for my actual clothes and things. So like all my emails for the various threads about panels have been, sent out or resolved. I have prepped for the panel I'm moderating. I've prepped. The only thing it's TBD, I'm gonna maybe throw together a slide with the panelist info for the one that I'm moderating, but I'm waiting on one person from that panel to get back to me, and I don't know if too far. Well, I effed that up. And then my water's in the way because of course. I forgot that this machine, it'll be fine. This particular machine, once you press the button to backstitch, actually goes like 2 or 3 stitches further before it does. I think just because it's a computerized machine rather than a mechanical, like my heavy duty. And so I'm like, oh, I'm at the edge. I press the button, it starts going backwards. They're like, no. The other thing you all might not have seen before is that I'm wearing these little grippy gloves, which are just good for like moving the fabric through, specifically with quilts. More helpful probably when I was doing free motion quilting, but I figured it couldn't hurt me to use it right now as well. So, sorry about that. I just hit the mic. I also changed the settings on this machine so that when I stop, the needle's in the down position, so that it's more likely to help me keep a straight line even if I'm starting and stopping repeatedly like we are right now. Or cooperate with me here. The biggest thing, as you all can see here, is that partially because I just didn't plan properly and I still have a bunch of stuff over here on the right. I don't have a lot of space. This isn't a particularly large desk that I'm sewing on, so even for a small quilt, I'm constantly moving it around. But yeah, super helpful. They're just kind of like, I mean, you could use probably like mechanics gloves or gardening gloves and stuff. You just want something with like a grippy texture to help with holding and maneuvering the fabric as you're sewing. This is actually really, really annoying. Please do what I want of you. Ugh. Honestly, this particular machine, not my favorite for this particular part. But since it was already set up with the bobbin and everything, I just said screw it and I would do the binding here. Very white glove surface, right? It's unfortunately, well, also because I'm wearing long sleeves right now, it's a little warm. But I definitely have found it to be a little smoother too, from the quilting standpoint, to use these. The other thing that, it's kind of a trade-off here. I just didn't want to go through the effort of having to move everything around again. So I stuck with this machine because it was already set up and the thread and everything was on it. But like, I have that extension table that is for quilting. Just go ask concierge. I'm sure that they have, or like somebody at the desk, they have a pin you can borrow. Also, you got time, no rush. That's a problem for Pirate like tomorrow. Not a problem for Pirate today. But yeah, you all can kind of see it. One of the other issues I ran into is because of how this top-down camera, which there isn't enough light over here, so again, I like the idea of how I want to set some of these things up for you all, but my space and the equipment I have as is not ideal for it, which is how we end up in this. I had to move the light because the light was in the way of the quilt. So there's less light over here for the top-down camera. The top-down camera had to move to the right, so it's a little lopsided. It's not a 360-degree angle for how the camera is attached. And now the wire for the camera, which you can see right here, is actually blocking the way for the quilt to go over the edge and hang down. So I will say this is, you know, one of the most frustrating challenges for this particular space and the variety of things I do is I don't really have one good setup that I can use that like gives you all good lighting and gives you all good camera placement and allows me to shift between different things without too much trouble. It's like, it's half the time it's me going, I want to do X, but to do X, I now need to move my entire setup. And then I'll do it, and I just have to plan and prep for it when I am, before I go live. But I will say that's the one struggle, or one of the bigger struggles, I think, for What the heck? Well, that's interesting. There's just a giant spot where this is like 10, 15 stitches that the machine was not grabbing the bobbin. Ooh. Oh, God damn it. Sorry, my water is... I keep hitting the water when I'm trying to reach for the wheel on the machine, and that is... music has stopped again. So this is what you all get to see, which is that part of, like, if I did not have the camera set up, I would still run into the nonsense of, like, I put my water too close and what have you. That would always... That's just the nature of being me. But certainly there are some things here that are very much like, this is a challenge that comes with trying to have a semi-reasonable streaming setup, working on different projects and moving things around. Like, there's a couple of sewing streamers that I watch who I really appreciate their content, but they also have the benefit of, like, having a house or a dedicated room for just that are much larger than the space I have. And as a natural, effect of that, can more easily set up for moving between different tables and having different things or multiple pieces of equipment that I just can't do with this space. So a lot of my frustrations just come from being like, how do I set this up in such a way that it doesn't make my life significantly more difficult trying to do it while giving you all, like, reasonable... Hey, Antiquated, welcome in. Yeah, I felt bad. I will say, I felt a little bad that you came in like, oh, what about quilting? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And then what did I do? Start quilting. So we did some, like, making the basics of, like, blocking and constructing the quilt top and all of that. Actually, on the last couple of streams, so they probably, I need to go in and highlight them or something. So they're probably still visible to you. But yeah, we are on the final stage of this quilt today, which is putting the binding on. All right. And we'll just, I'll own it. I'm absolutely being a human disaster right now. My space, I've been trying to do too many things at the same time. And as a result, I've kind of made my space working less for me than better. Yeah, so I don't know how easy this is. So, here we go. This is the pattern. So the way that this one, I think I had shown it to you, or potentially shown it off. It's 8 colored blocks, which makes the heart. There's a white block up here, and then the same fabric of the white is used for the sashing, which creates the edge between each heart block. Put them all together. Put the batting in the center and the backing fabric, so making our quilt sandwich. I stitched them down off stream, so I used a, not basic, but a wavy, I don't know how well it's showing here. It's across like a wavy stitch, and now we're putting the binding on, which is basically the last step. So binding is done, well, the way that I'm binding, we should rephrase this. The way that I am binding this is done in 2 parts. The first is what you're seeing right now, which is that I've taken my binding, I've folded it in half, I've clipped it along the edges, and I'm stitching it down. And in the second half, we will actually fold it over and underneath. My light is too, hold on. As is always the challenge for me with you all, the lighting I need to be able to see, because this is not a well-lit room, makes it very difficult for you all to see because it washes everything out. Hey DC, welcome in. One day, I was looking up just for fun. Is it like I can't remember if it's like the Elgato Air or whatever, the like larger like area lights or something. I was looking at those and I was like, oh, those would be nice, but I'd probably need like probably two, and I think they retail at like 180, and I just can't justify right now, $300+ and just to have slightly better lighting. Well, probably significantly better. But again, comes back to the other challenge that I've been complaining about here on stream today, which is that I do not have my stuff set up in such a permanent fashion because I switch projects and I move everything around and stuff that I can't even guarantee how well it'll work out, or will I be in the same problem where it's like, yeah, the lights are better, but like my cameras and everything else, I'm constantly moving them around to get the look I want, and it just becomes just as much of a hassle. Like I said, one day, modular setup. You'll get one of those like frames that you can put like lights and camera and things and slide them around. That's what music, what are you doing? What are you doing, music? There we go. The Elgato Airs. All right, I did get it right. Because I was looking up Fierce Kittens, who sews and stuff and has a really nice setup. And she has an older video showing off her equipment and things. And I was like, oh, that's all really nice. You have a better space than I do for this. And has two of those. So that's why I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's why your lighting always looks so good. But again, stationary setup in a very specific sort of way that I don't. It's funny, when I was actually putting the quilt sandwich together, I took a short little video, which I might post up to Instagram. That's me being like, the way this space behind me is, which y'all can't see right now, is my large table I use for cutting and ironing and all those other things that folds. Basically fits from the wall to that pillar I showed you all previously. That's like the weird, middle of the room load-bearing pillar. And it was like this whole comedy where I'm like, I have inches on each side. Like, there's not really enough room here for this, but I'm making it work. Oh crap, what did you get stuck on? I see why people like some of the industrial machines that are designed to have a either flat surface or at least not these like very clear kind of bumps between materials, because it's like my clips get caught on it, which stops everything. And then I end up with a whole bunch of extra thread in one very specific spot because that's where it got stuck. Elgato key is the more expensive. You got two. Air is out. You can do. Oh, that's not as bad. Yeah, I've been looking. I think like the biggest challenge I have, and this is something I haven't really seen in like the few videos I looked up on lighting, is, as you all know, or as I've talked about, like this is a very high ceiling. Like I'm in a old copper wire mill that got converted to apartments, and so they're like, oh, they're loft apartments, you have these nice high ceilings. But what comes with that is that you don't, and there's almost no lighting built into this apartment. Every light, all of the light that you're getting here on camera is strictly from my own lamps and stuff. There's nothing in here that is wired into the walls or the apartment that came with it. So I have these really high ceilings, and so even my nice like bright lights, which is the one you all can't see that's back here, is like, well, that only gets so much of the room because the ceilings are so high. You don't necessarily have like that benefit. And they're also, I don't know if this impacts, they're like a wood, potentially original wood paneling ceilings and stuff, so it's not like the standard popcorn like white or off-white ceilings that would maybe reflect some light back down. Which is all to say is that like I'm iffy about spending that much on lighting and then having it be like, okay, cool, that really only works in spaces that are more standard sized, and the high ceiling is gonna still make them less effective. So again, modular setup, y'all. One day. And by one day, I mean probably never. I would need like a frame running through this entire room to reasonably do a functional modular setup. But yeah, it is, I will say, one of the kind of more frustrating components is like, I like my apartment, but the lighting is one of my biggest annoyances. Thanks, Nightbot. We always appreciate our lurkers here. Did I just... Yeah. Oh, come on. All right. All right, this is the last bit we gotta do. Then we'll have a comedy of me trying to cut and fold this under to fit it in, which is amusing every time because I'm very bad at it. Without the one, the gloves are nice when you're actually, when you're doing the, but they are slightly problematic from the perspective of, so let's do lines up the edge. Alright. You all can't see this. I'll show it to you after I actually put it all together. This is good enough. So we'll just clip that right there. We won't even put the gloves back on. We're so close to the end. Well, to the end of this part. We still have to flip everything over and then stitch again. I'm actually surprised my bobbin didn't run out in this process. Okay. So I can show you all, well, you can see it because of the color change here. So essentially, you fold over, I don't know how well this will be visible. You'll fold over this first piece that you put in, and then when you're coming back, all right, this is a terrible explanation. Let me show it to you. So when you're putting the binding in, what you will do, or when you're starting your binding, is you're gonna fold a triangle, and then you fold in half. And what this does is at the start of your binding, it creates this nice little pocket here at an angle. There you go. I'm like trying to make it so you can hopefully see the light, the color difference. So fold a triangle down, fold in half, creates a nice little pocket. And so then when you're coming back around at the end, you trim the edge, not like this, this is actually backwards. And what you'll be able to do essentially, let me fold this, is you essentially create a reverse of that fits in underneath that you stitch in. And so it creates this sort of natural pocket for the ends too. And then when you see it on the outside, it'll look something. Ugh, lighting is terrible. There we go. Like this. Yeah, Pretzel made a choice with this. This is also a very light pastel fabric, which means that when the light's on it, again, the challenge here, this light that you all are getting here is not just lighting for you all to see stuff when I hold it up to the camera, it's also lighting for me to see with. So I think it's always at odds. Ideally, I would have, you know, 2 separate sets of lights, one that's specifically better set for you all. But thank you. Yes, Quilt is coming together. So you can kind of, yeah, there you go. You can see. So this is the binding halfway done. The colors just don't pop out as well for you all, which might also be the camera losing some of like the purples and stuff, in honesty. So, but welcome in, Mithra, and I hope you're doing well today. Appreciate you stopping by while we're doing quilting things. Yeah, Pretzel's doing something right now. Here we go. Just to make my life easier, because all of this is going to get folded under, I'm going ahead and trimming all the thread. And then if we, so you can kind of see here. So this is the fabric that's, the purple side is where we started with the folds. The pink is what the end of this, and then it'll work out to a nice little transition on the outside. So now what we're gonna do, I'm lazy and I'm gonna attempt to do it here, and then if it goes badly, we will, let me also pull all my threads here, because that's something I was like, I knew I'd forgotten to do threads. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just gonna trim. There's a little bit of excess fabric there because of how I brought in the end of the binding. Isn't it? It's this really lovely, hold on, I can actually show you all because I have a bigger piece of it, so it'll be a little easier to see. It's the leftover from when I was cutting. So. If I hold it up really close, you can see there's little stars and dots and stuff, so it looks like a pastel rainbow starry sky. What? I'm sorry, that was very loud. Pirates! Link me this! My dreams are finally coming true! I'm sorry, y'all. I feel very strongly about the Golden Sun games from the Game Boy Advance days, and I have been building a summoning circle for years to have Nintendo get these ported to the Switch. Like, not just available in their, like, you know, Nintendo Online, oh, it's part of the, okay, it's part of the Nintendo Online and expansion pack stuff. Okay, okay. I'll take it. What I really want is a remake. Like a separate port, like independent game kind of thing. Like, go the Secrets of Mana, or the Star Ocean remakes and stuff. Like, that's really what I want, but I will take this. Is it under the expansion pack, or is it under, does it fall under the regular Nintendo Switch Online? That's my question. All right, so, sorry, we got very distracted by that. So the way that this works, essentially, or that we're gonna do, so you take your binding, you're just finger pressing it open, and then folding it underneath. Which I will then clip. Some people iron this before they, like, clip and stitch. I don't want to say lazy, but I don't. Unless, like, it's a very specific, like, I might take the iron to here where the start, beginning and end of the, binding, which you can't see because why is my lighting so absolutely, the beginning and ending, I might iron that because that spot's always a little bit rough when it folds over and to stitch it down, because you end up with like 8 layers of fabric. But woo, we're finally getting something. Golden Sun, there's a couple of games, not just Nintendo 2. There's a couple of games from, you know, like Game Boy Advance, from like PlayStation 1 and stuff that I would love to see get like a modern treatment, a remake. It can be like the Star Ocean remakes, what have you. It's the expansion pass. Okay. Since I couldn't remember if everything Game Boy Advance was expansion pass or not. Okay, well, I have mixed feelings about that because that would cost me more extra money that I do not currently pay, and I actually have the Golden Sun games, and I do not have a Game Boy Advance, but I do have a, oh, this is gonna be all messed up. Okay, hold on, let me, I do still have my Nintendo DS, which plays Game Boy Advance games. What the heck happened in this corner? So anyways, sorry about that. That was very loud. I had a very strong reaction to that for reasons. But yeah, because there's Golden Sun, and then was it Golden Sun Dark, I forget what the second one was called. Dark oh, this should be fine. Like it's a pain. But it should be fine. Wait. I just broke that clip. So, things are going great right now. How did I botch this corner of this page? Alright, let's be smart, y'all, and let's just trash the broken clip before I keep trying to grab it. Yeah, so they're doing both like the original Golden Sun and the second one, which I'm blanking on the name besides that Dark, I think, is in the title. But I remember what the art for it looked like. The art, like the cover art, the cartridge art. Okay. Okay. Let's move the scissors so I don't either accidentally cut something or accidentally stab myself. Let's just avoid all of the ways in which this can go wrong. Always wanted to play Golden Sun. Yeah, I really enjoyed Golden Sun. But yeah, so there's a couple. So Golden Sun was one of the games that I would still love to have it get some type of remake. Whether it stays in the original pixel style and they clean it up a la like the Secret of Mana games, or whether they do like we're gonna modernize it. So Golden Sun is one of the ones from my list. One of the other games from PlayStation 1 era was Legend of Dragoon. Golden Sun Dark Dawn, that's what it was. I was like, it's Golden Sun Dark something, and I'm just blanking on what the second word was. Like, I could see the title in my head. Hey, Tom, welcome in. Yeah, pretzels being pretzel today. It's being the classic pretzel of, like, we're going to go on a journey together, whether you want to or not. Welcome in, Tom. Hi. I'm currently adjusting or being distracted from doing the binding of this quilt. Here you go. I might be able to see it a little bit better now. So basically what I'm just doing is doing a basic finger press on the side that I already stitched, and then we take and we fold it over to the back. If I do it right, if I've like done all of this correctly, you all can see that there's, oh, nope, you can see, so there's the stitching here. That's from what I just stitched down. So as I fold it over, and I'm clipping it down to hopefully take to stitch through. If I fingers crossed, it'll end up covering that line of stitching. So the first kind of round of stitching you do on the binding in this method doesn't have to be perfect, because theoretically, if you did it well enough, it'll be hidden when you do the second round of stitching, because you're basically covering it. And the whole intent is that the binding on the back is wider than on the front. So the front should theoretically end up being about 1/4 inch, which I picked the pale color to show you this. So if we look here, once it's folded under, it should be about 1/4 inch here, and then underneath it'll probably be closer 3/8 to 1/2 inch, depends on how wide you cut it yourself. Right. The only place that I seem to have kind of like botched this, which is funny because last time my corners were so clean, and this time it's like, what the heck did I do to the corners? That everything's not clean. Botch this whole thing. Just like the way I stitched corners is like just not going great here. What the heck? Alright, let's... Please don't make me regret this. Don't let me mess this whole thing up. Alright. It's not perfect, but it'll probably be good enough as long as I stitch it well. This corner's... Like, I thought the other corner was bad. This corner's way worse. I don't know what the heck I was doing here. Should have been fine. She says to herself. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, so basically we're gonna finish this quilt. I might table doing, depending on how long this takes me, I might table the ink. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to that tonight. Probably what I'll do is I'll pack everything. And then whatever I can get done tomorrow morning is what I get done tomorrow morning. Officially off work even though you're slacking with coworkers. Fair. Remember, culture. Hanging out with your coworkers and chatting with them is part of the culture too. I will say this is probably going slower because I am just sitting here doing it instead of moving it to the table where I have a little bit more space to work. But the table is just such a hassle, and I don't have the camera set up for that tonight. And there's more than just clips in this little bin, and I'm like, what did I just pull out? I pulled out a presser, or a sewing foot. There's also needles in there, so hopefully I'm not going to accidentally stab myself. What the heck did I do? That all of my corners are kind of effed up. Last quilt I did this so well, and this time it's like, nah, you done messed up. Like, they're not completely wrong. They're just like not as smoothly fitting back over. Like, it's supposed to be a really easy, natural, oh, here's how this all like flips over, and I don't have to do quite as much finagling as I'm doing right now. And I'm not quite sure what I did. I mean, like, it's fine. It's workable. It's not like a completely ruined, I need to redo the corners kind of thing. It's just not great. Also contribute to company culture by going into the office for lunch and coming right back home. That's fair. Pretzel is all over the place with our music selections tonight, which is a little more regular Pretzel. I feel like Pretzel is always in a journey, and like last stream Pretzel was very mild compared to what I think we're used to, where we're like, what is this Pretzel? Definitely gonna have to take a lint roller to this. I used a different brand of batting for this one, I think because it was just the only thing in the size I needed when I was shopping for it, and it definitely like kind of frays at the edges way faster than some of the others I've used. Alright, this song makes me think it belongs in a James Bond movie. Clearly, last stream was an off day for Pretzel. I like when Pretzel has an off day, Pretzel plays like a regular thematic normal playlist where we're not questioning what's happening more than once. That's an off day for Pretzel. Yeah. Depending on how much trouble I have primarily with the corners, I think is where the real issue is going to be when I'm doing this next round of stitching. We might just only do the quilt tonight and then call it dinner has been acquired. Yay! I am glad for you. Hopefully it is delicious and filling and everything you wanted it to be. What is this pretzel? I want you all to know too, I was chatting with somebody about this where I was like, this is the small size of quilt. This is a baby quilt. Like, I can't imagine people who make king size quilts. Like, that's just wild to me. That helps our corner woes here. Okay, not perfect, but not terrible. Or at least I should say it's better. So we will. It's a little bit more work to do all of this up front in terms of clipping the whole thing and what have you, but it means that I'm not doing it unless something goes wrong. I probably have to mess with the corners a bit. I'm not doing it in the middle, so hopefully that means the actual stitching will go a bit quicker. Sounds like the kind of like music you would have for a villain, but it's the villain when he's hanging out in his dining room pretending not to be a villain. Okay. Okay, y'all. Here we go. So, once again, y'all can kind of see with this binding. We've already stitched down one portion of this. When we were going around, we folded it over, clipped it down, and it's held. And now what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be stitching here on the top, but close to that edge. And that should, because the trim on the back is wider than the trim on the front, this stitch should go all the way through and hold the trim down. And now we're just going to very slowly go all the way around. Now, I believe the correct term for this is that you are stitching in the ditch, which is the space between the two fabrics. Some people hand sew this so that it's very nicely hidden. Most of the time I am stitching with a matching with a thread that is similarly colored to the whatever white or off-white fabric that I'm using. And so as a result, if you're looking, you'll notice that the stitches are there, but they're not gonna stand out. So in this case, I'm using a kind of like natural cream / off-white thread. I'm a little bit slower here. Some people can move this very quickly. Yeah, see, there's where we'll have to come back over and fix this stitch. So because of how the fabric is here, it didn't quite fold all the way over, and the stitch lost the backing of the trim. It's not terrible, but we'll just come back through and stitch it ourselves from the opposite side where I can see it. It means that it won't be quite as clean, but it just ensures that it's actually down and that the trim won't unfold there in the corner. Most of the time I'm just trying really hard not to catch the edge of the actual trim fabric. It still probably wouldn't be super noticeable if I did, because this thread is so light. For some of the others where I've done a darker binding, it certainly is more noticeable, and so we just want to continually what did I do here? There we go. And again, one of the issues that I run into here is because I have the clips, which you can see a little pop of color here, it's actually getting caught. There's a metal plate, which is what slides up to the actual needle, but the rest of this is plastic. So that transition from plastic to metal plate is just enough of a kind of bump. It's probably a couple of millimeters difference in height, that it's very easy when I'm moving the fabric through for things like clips and stuff to get caught on it, and then the fabric stops moving and the needle is going up and down in one spot, which just runs you into issues with bobbins and extra thread and stuff that you don't want. It makes a mess, is the nice way of putting it. What is this pretzel? I feel like this is the type of music you hear in like a, I don't know, sitcom from the 50s or 60s that's where somebody visits Hawaii. So basically our goal, or my goal here, is we'll go all the way around, then we'll take a look at the backside, see what didn't quite turn out as well as needed, and then if we need to seam rip or do any extra stitching, we will. And I imagine for a few of these, there will need to be a little extra stitching. Basically at the corners, that's where the biggest issue is right now. Just because I don't know what I did with when I was stitching it around, that I followed the same way I've done it each time. And still, yep, same on here. Let's check what we got. I still got it good on the bobbin. This song could have been there you go, SpongeBob, yes. I guess I was flashing back to something like, was it the 50s or the 60s that they did all like the surfer movies? The one that comes to mind, which is probably not the best one, but the one that comes to mind is like Gidget. I think that was supposed to be the 50s. I don't know if that's when it was actually made, but I think it was supposed to represent the 50s. Sometimes it's really interesting to watch some of those old movies and be like, what is this? Was this actually a thing at the time? Y50, there you go. I'm gonna assume that this corner also, for whatever reason, there's just, it seems like the fabric bunched up a lot right on the edge of the corner, which I'm guessing is just an issue with how I like completed that first round of stitching, and it's too bulky, so much that the fabric isn't folding over far enough to get caught in this round of stitching. But at this point, I'm not undoing the whole thing, so we're just going to do some less than pretty cleanup on that once we're done going all the way around. I'm sure it'll still look fine, it just won't be quite as crisp. As if I had done the corners correctly. still okay for now. I don't know if we're gonna make it all the way around, but we're gonna try. Sorry, there's a lot of clips here, so let's just like move some of these out of the way. Alright. I did move my quilting needle over to this machine when I swapped. The funny thing too is whatever I did with that I messed up with the corners, I appear to have done it on all of the corners. So like at least I was consistent, I guess. We're gonna look at it kind of positively, like I was consistent whatever way I messed it up to have the exact same problem in 3 of 4 and probably soon to be 4 corners. Yep. That corner might be the worst of them. Very focused sewing right now, y'all, despite the fact that it is primarily in a straight line. Come on. Now, unfortunately, I think the stitching and things will be quite difficult for me to show you just because it's a light thread on a light fabric that the camera has already been having some trouble really capturing because of the way my lighting is. Alright. Oh. Alright, my bobbin made it just barely to the end. So you know what, we'll take it. Thank you. I wanted to do something different, so I was told the color theme to go with was purple. And I didn't really want to try and get 8 different purples like I had done with some of the others. So I was like, well, what else could I do? It's like, well, what if it was a gradient of purples? A light, a medium, and a dark. And then I just had to find the fabrics that I needed for that, so... Alright, yeah! We'll probably aim... Alright. So what I'm actually going to do this time is use a pin rather than a clip. also not quite working the way I wanted. Of course it wasn't. That would be too easy. Wait. I need to put some thread on my bobbin before I try sewing anything. Shouldn't need a ton. This also sounds like it belongs in a sitcom. I appreciate that, Mithrin. That's what I hope. I hope that they're happy with it and it's something that they want to keep and hold on to for years. You know, that's all I can ask for. Or that if they decide for some reason they don't want it, that they find it a good home. Go. All right. As much as I hate to stitch this on the back side, so what I'm gonna do in an effort to get this to do what I want it to do. So frickin' cooperate with me here. Yeah, I think it's just the way that I think I know what I did here, now that I'm looking at it. It's the way in which it'll make the front side probably look like less than great, just because of the way I just stitch it, but it's not, yeah. Gosh darn it, that's what I was afraid was going to happen. Okay, let's see if I can't clean this up. So for some reason, my bobbin thread always like basically F's up, to put it nicely, and ends up with this like little nest of, that you all can't see because of course my lighting is terrible. End up with this like absolutely horrible mess of threads that then I have to say, like, how can I clean this up without just ruining this entire thing? And unfortunately, I had to stitch on the back side to make this work. But the downside of that is the back side looks decent now, and the front now has this absolute disaster thread going on. So I'm going to try and trim it without accidentally cutting the fabric itself. And see if that So it's unfortunate because these types of finishing touches are the things you kind of want to be the cleanest. They're also, in my opinion, some of the most difficult to practice. which is how you end up like I am right now, where it's like, this quilt looks so good, and then the binding is where everything's gonna get effed up. Here's what we're gonna do. This side ended up okay, I don't know why. The rest of it was problematic, but it's fine. Listening to sounds, hold on. Boys' childhood quits are still all that's favorite. Thought about making them longer for them, but I don't have the talent. Yeah, fair. Pretzel is a 40s movie seen in a nightclub. Yes, MGM musical. There you go. Welcome in, Wireless Riot and friends. Hold on. Well, hold on. I have to actually like adjust my camera. Please hold. There we go. Hi. Hello, welcome in, Marius and friends. How was stream? I forget what you were playing now, but it was cute and cozy. But welcome in. Hi, if you don't know me, I'm Lady Luck 34. My pronouns are she, her. I'm like, what are my pronouns? I don't even know. What's the rest of my introduction, y'all? What do I do? Who am I? Why am I here? It's Thursday. And I'm a variety streamer who does games and crafty things. Quilt is almost complete. Let's like turn it in a way that y'all can see. Quilt is almost, this isn't very well, but almost complete. Basically right now I'm putting the binding on, but I kind of messed it up in multiple places. So I'm mostly at the corners. I made mistakes. So I'm currently going around trying to fix that and kind of sort of making it worse, but hopefully making it better. Time is Sandrock. Got it. Okay. I'm glad that it went well. All right. So let me take a look. All right. So let's just full on commit. Let's full on commit to this corner. We're just going to do basically a top stitch on the edge of the binding on the top, which is not what you're supposed to do, but that is what I am going to do because I want it to help me. Well, pretzel stopped, so we're doing great, y'all. And then we were there, we got the thing, it was going the way we wanted, and my thread broke. Alright, sorry, I'm just like trying to see pretzel on the other screen to see what the heck it's doing. Alright, it's not gonna be the cleanest of things. Can't believe he broke on me, thread. But I'm glad stream was fun. Thank you for coming on in. Bringing your community over. I'd like to say we're cozy vibes, but sometimes we're chaos vibes too. This is a quilt I want to hand off to somebody tomorrow. And so I'm like, it's getting done tonight one way or another. So we're just here. It's just finishing touches at this stage. I just keep messing up my finishing touches. Why does it keep skipping stitches? It's probably skipping stitches because this is multiple layers of thread. This machine isn't really suited for, but I'm making it do it anyway. Sewing machine might be tonight's boss. Forget fighting Ganon. They're going to be like, this one corner looks really, really weird. Yeah, I effed it up, but I wanted it to be right for you all so it wouldn't unravel. Over time. And so, yes, I went through the effort of redoing this. I'm going to be super annoyed with that. All right, hold on. Actually, it was okay, and I just messed it up. I just didn't realize. Alright, so here's what we're going to do then. Me just repeatedly having to stitch over this because I keep being like, it looks wrong! It's not actually wrong, it just looks wrong. Oh, let me swap back over to crafting. Turn the camera down so y'all can actually see stuff. I mean, all you're gonna see is me struggling, it's fine. This is who I am now. I messed up one thing the same way in multiple places. The good part is, this entire corner is a mess, but it is a mess that I hopefully will not repeat on the other corners after going through it this one time. So we're gonna be smart about this. What we're gonna do. She says to herself. Whether that's actually what happens, we don't really know. But that's what I'm gonna tell myself in this process. Why are you like this? And this is why everything keeps getting ruined. Actually, it could be worse. I can tell in the places where it's sort of, the thread is like, what the heck did you do to me? But you know what? This corner's done. It's not the prettiest of corners, but it made it. And, hopefully part of the... I was gonna say, hopefully they'll appreciate the imperfections for, what I was trying to do and not how much I effed it up. Alright. Alright. Please don't be a nest. Nope. And that's exactly it. I'm like, it looks so good on the front side, and then it's a freaking thread nest on the... which is sort of what I feared. And what is with this? It's, again, I think it's just this machine is not... It's also... So there's a couple things. One is, a machine's most powerful when it's moving. So the fact that I keep starting and stopping means that it's not really like getting into, I hate to say getting into its groove, but getting into its groove to be able to power through easily some of these thicker sections where I have it going through a bunch of additional layers of fabric. And so the result of that is, of course, is that it keeps getting stuck or slowing down or getting, and that's part of what is causing this issue. So the main thing here is it's just the corner. So we're gonna try something a little bit different. Nope, I've just made it all worse. Hold on. I know how I made it worse. It's annoying. Machine, you're not set for this, and it is, but it's not worth it to try and swap to the other one at this stage. Pretzel is in a strangely musical vibe tonight. Actually, you know what? Come on. Nope, I've just made it. The thread broke, and then before that. This is not my nicer thread that I've started buying. It's the less nice thread, but I was like, oh, I'll just grab this one and finish it off, and guess what? That's why we're probably having so much freaking trouble right now. The real reason I had to start an hour early tonight, y'all, is so I'd have enough time to do all of this. But yeah, just this one corner. I was like, oh, my idea will let us bypass the struggle we're having. No, the struggle is still there. The struggle has not gotten better. Nope. I have no freaking clue what just happened. Ugh. It like keeps up, it's like not going through properly to grab the thread off the bobbin is the issue here. So and as a result, it is making this all worse. I'm gonna rethread the whole thing and hope that maybe, just maybe, that's gonna resolve whatever the heck it's doing here. And so like, because it's not going through to the bobbin correctly, that's part of why I'm dropping so many stitches, because it's just losing so much here. Like instances like this where you're like, you don't have a clear solve, and it just kind of reinforces why I should probably not be using this particular machine for quilts, or at least this stage of quilting. Alright, so let's just rethread the whole thing. I'll redo the bobbin. This. I don't know what the heck you're doing, thread. We're literally, I feel, this happens to me pretty often, y'all. That like we get to the very end of the project and I'm having some ridiculous struggle that takes what should have been like, we should already be done. We should have been done, 10 minutes ago. And instead, here I am trying to solve for this unexpected challenge. Hey Prax, welcome in. Hope you're doing well this evening. Alright. Let's try this again. that was mostly better. The only thing we're running into, as expected, is that just the amount of fabric here on the corner is kind of really, really short. So while we've gotten most of the corner, there's just the thing that and the reason why I'm being so particular about this is when there's like a flap that will like unfold, one, the rest of the stitching becomes invisible. And then two, that has a bigger chance for it to just get caught on stuff and then pull the whole thing open. So I'm a little more particular about trying to get this kind of properly resolved so that we don't run the chance of like it functioning in such a way as to gosh darn it, as to like cause an unraveling of the rest of this. The biggest problem is that because of where it's at, it's causing me, it's a pain. It's not, there's so much fabric there, it's not going all the way through, which is part of what's causing the problem. We are stuck in a musical tonight, Pretzel. What is this? Alright, you know what? What we're gonna do, I'm gonna put a clip on this one because I want to come back to it. I might just, you know what I might have to do? I might have to hand sew this, which I hate for me, but that might have to be what it is. In the meantime, what we'll do instead is work on one of the other corners because I have 2 more corners to go. Would you imagine that quilting would be this difficult? Only when you F it up, like I did. It's cute though. I mean, Pretzel's having a blast. Here we go. All right. All right. It's not the prettiest, but we got it. I'm gonna have to stitch on the back side. I thought I got in it, but I had not. This is, so y'all can kind of see here, the corner, it's just, it like curves up. There wasn't the, I should have just trimmed the whole corner is what I should have done. Which honestly I think we're gonna try and do because there's so many skip stitches here. Like, I think I figured out how I kind of messed up the corners before, but it's not an easy fix for me to like do the whole thing right now, or to try and redo the entire corner. So what we'll do instead is let's just see if I can do enough to pull this in. Like, I feel bad because all of the rest of this is so well, not well, but reasonably well put together, and then the binding and specifically the corners are gonna look like crap because I F this whole thing up, but it's like, it's kind of at the stage where maybe I would try to redo it, like really truly redo it if I had several days, but like I leave tomorrow early afternoon, so. Here we go. All right, so here's what we're gonna do, which I think, I hope. I bet you that's part of my problem. All right. We doing some like surgery on this, y'all. Me, I'm like, I just want it to be less terrible. So I think what I did wrong is I stitched a little too close to the edge when I was doing the corner. I needed to give it just a little bit more space from where I started / stopped the stitching. And that would have given the fabric just a little bit more working room. This truly terrible stitching that's here. And because of how I stitch it, it just also made this extra bulky in a way that is very difficult to stitch over, especially with this particular machine, which just doesn't have the power. It doesn't have the power to do all the things I'm basically asking of it. And then we have, all right, let me actually. And then it's I think also part of it is it's dropping stitches in so many places that areas where I might have been like, yeah, this is fine. I'm like, well, it dropped a stitch. Like, that's not secure. So it's not quite going to do what we need of it. Which is why I have to keep going over everything. All right. Okay. So basically all of the corners on this are going to look not great. And I feel really bad about that. This quilt was coming together so well. There we go. No, do not. It wasn't picking up the bobbin there, which is what part of the problem. Okay. It is not the prettiest because I've just had to go over it 15 million times, but this corner is finally in better shape. We will not need to return to this one. Sorry, now I'm catching up on chat. I'm just so focused because I'm like, I need to pack. I need to go get these other things done. And instead I'm here being like, let me repeatedly try to fix this because... Alright. Now, as mentioned, I'm pretty sure I know that the issue is this. So let us, before I even try stitching again, let's just see if I can make this a little better for myself. Like I'm still kind of stuck on like what the heck I did in these corners that like caused such a so much struggle. Alright, I'm gonna do something stupid, y'all, and hope it doesn't come back to bite me. Gonna have the issue of there's just how did I manage this on this corner? It's very much a lot of like, how exactly did I do this, because it's not 100% clear to me. Alright, well, we're not gonna be able to hide all the stitching. When it goes well, it goes really well, y'all. And when it goes badly, it's the worst. And also because it's the corner, it's a pain between the amount of fabric and everything else to like get everything to stay where I need it to stay while I'm trying to stitch it. Made worse by there's so much fabric in the corner that it keeps getting stuck, which is not helping. Like if I could just go over it smoothly in one go, a couple of my ideas probably would have solved for this, but I can't do that because it's so thick. That I can't, there's a little piece of something, I forget what it's called, that you can use to try and help with this, but I don't have one, so I have to make do with what I do have right now, which is basically myself. Yep. And then of course, thread gets all effed up with the bobbin, which is also effed up right now. What the heck happened to you, bobbin? Oh, there's our thread nest getting started there. Luckily, I knew it was happening as it was happening and was like, nope, 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 nope. We wasting so much thread tonight, y'all, trying to make this happen. just frustrating at this point because this is, like, if it was not for these corners, I would be done. This project would already be done. We're just trying to clean this up. And we've lost, what, 30 minutes plus trying to resolve this? Welcome to struggle. Welcome to the sewing struggle bus, where I'm not quite ready to cry, but if this keeps up, I might get there. And it's nothing that's an easy solve without basically taking this entire thing apart and trying to do it again, and we're not doing that because I don't have the time for it. Alright, so it's not how I should be doing this, but I have a lot of options here. Please work. Please don't be a thread nest on the other side. Alright. Drop some stitches there, which is what I expected. Okay. It's only little, yeah, basically. So the issue here is, okay, we nearly got it. There's not a terrible thread nest, but the thread got all messed up where essentially it was dropping stitches, so I am gonna have to cut it out, but what I'm going to do now is, it's not perfect, but basically we just want to clean up the top side. So we're going to go over it, and then I will, any other problems I have will be we're going to turn. We're gonna hope that this will be it. Alright. Alright, y'all. It is still not the prettiest, but it's better than it was. So we are gonna leave it at this, because it is secure, if not very pretty. Chap believes in you. Thanks, Leaf. Thanks, Mithrin. I just, this is the thing where it's like you mess up one thing and it just creates this sort of cascading issue. And again, it wouldn't have been perfect on the other machine, but I wouldn't run into quite the exact same struggles I am here, because that is a machine with a little bit more power to it. This one isn't really meant for the amount of, isn't managing for the amount of fabric and stuff I'm making it go through very well. So don't look too closely at the details, y'all, and it'll be great quilt. Okay, so now our problem, I shouldn't say our problem, but now we need to go back to the problem corner. All right, ooh. This is the other thing, which is what I'm glad for doing here, is we can check in places. So like here's a little spot where we didn't quite get the edge of the binding the way we should have, so we'll like just keep going over a few of these. This is simple. This is just fabric there was not quite far enough over. So ones like this are a very simple solve, except for when we end up with our stupid bobbin giving us a thread nest. Looks so good on the one side, looks absolutely miserable on the other. I think I've talked about it before, that I think unfortunately this machine takes different bobbins than the heavy duty, but they're all very, very similar. So one is a class 15 and the other one is a class 15J. And I'll be real honest, they look exactly the same to me. I cannot meaningfully tell the difference, and they are not marked. So there's nothing, you know, there's nothing on the actual bobbin that says this is a 15 or a 15J. And so, unfortunately, what that means is that they've gotten it intermixed, because by accident early on, I've certainly once or twice considered whether I just want to sell this machine and buy a new one. I tried to touch up this corner. Once again, like, this thread is not pulling the bobbin. Like, the bobbin thread is not being pulled through, which is just kind of pissing me off at this stage. Like, why is there a bobbin if it's not pulling the thread through? So frustrating. Alright, so we touched that one up. Let's just check. This edge appears to be fine. I'm like doing all the touch up here because I don't want to have to come back to this with any sewing tomorrow. I basically want to be like, all I gotta do is iron and take a lint roller to this, and that's it, because this has been quite frustrating. You had one job, basically. Hi, Brian. Like, I had this with, I think, the first quilt I did, where it's just, you finally get all the pieces together, you're in that final stretch, you're like, I just have this little bit, and then it just gets so thrown off. Like, here we've lost essentially an hour to just trying to deal with these issues with the corners. And it is so terribly frustrating, because also at this stage, if you don't realize that you've messed it up really early on, there's not a lot you can do. So outside of this one corner, So I think what we're going to do is I'm just going to hand sew these. Not really how I want to do this, but at this point I'm having so much trouble with the machine, I'm probably going to spend just as much time hand sewing, but I'll get it done once and it'll be correct the first time. But yeah, I won't lie that I have on and off been like, do I just give this machine to somebody else or sell it or what have you, and get one, ideally another one that uses the same bobbin or uses, like at this point I'm almost tempted to just trash all of the bobbins I have and buy a new set and be like, this is it. Alright. So first things first, there we go. Again, this won't be the prettiest of corners, but they're not going to unravel because of the corner, which is the important thing. The most important to me. That I'm like, I don't want this to be coming apart because I didn't close up the corners appropriately. Oh, I can share the thing. I'm doing a thing, y'all. I'm taking part in a, what would we describe it as? A limited series? Is that the appropriate word? Actual play, hosted on Praxis channel. In a world I've never done a tabletop RPG in before, which will be an adventure. I'm not selling this very well. I'm sorry, y'all. I apparently lack the ability to multitask when it comes to hand sewing. Yeah, this is all you get. I'm doing a thing. So I'm going to be taking part in a limited run series, if that's the correct phrasing, with several others, including Prex and Painting Pirate, where we are going to be playing through a tabletop adventure in the Mass Effect world. I believe it will be on Sundays. Here's the thing, I agreed to all of this, and I know what it is. I just, in this exact moment in time, am absolutely blanking on what it is. Like the specific details. So, official announcement to come with more specific details than that. But it's the first time that I'm going to be doing a live streamed stream. That doesn't make sense. Not a multi-stream, but everything I have done to date has been a one-shot. There we go. So this is the first time I'm gonna do something that is a persistent campaign. And I believe it is a limited run, so this will not be a long-term ongoing campaign. But I don't remember how many. I think we're doing 16, or is it 8? I'm really bad at this, y'all, as you can tell. I'm sorry. It's because I'm trying to sew at the same time. That's just made my ability to talk about anything absolutely terrible. All right, there we go. we're just gonna stitch all of this. Okay, so that one's done. This corner I think was mostly okay. Yeah, that one's good enough. I think it was the one we just did. I think it's, yeah, this is the one where we'll do a little bit more. But anyways, okay, yes. Pirate is gonna be a Krogan to make everyone hate you. I have not actually planned. I started reading the primer for the Mass Effect tabletop and then was like, I should rephrase that. I started reading it and then got distracted by all these other things and put it to the side. So that's going to be a problem for future Mandy after Areja, essentially, is the takeaway here. So I don't know what I'm going to be playing. I couldn't tell you anything about them because I haven't decided yet. But playing with cool people, going to be on Praxagoria's channel. And I'm very excited to do my first not one-shot campaign. You have thoughts, but you don't know yet. I'm very excited. Like, I love the idea of being able to do a, I feel like every time I do a one-shot and I make a new character, I create this really robust backstory for that character that I then never get to use because it's a one-shot. So doing a limited series I think is going to be actually really fun, and I'm excited to play in the Mass Effect world as well, because I think there's just a lot of really fun, silly things that we can do there. I'm very bad at this. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm clearly not selling this well. I promise post-Areja, when I'm not trying to hand stitch the corner of a quilt, that I will have a much better pitch for why you all should want to join us on Sundays to see this game. Besides the fact that Pirate and Prax and I will be there. Alright, come on. How did I manage it? Kind of messed this up. I should have made this longer, but it's too late. So we're just gonna do this old-fashioned way. Or attempt to. I've made this so short I can't tie a knot at the end. Hey, Chaos Mage Cat, welcome in. I'm sorry, I'm struggling very, very hard right now to... Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna have to give up and hope that this mostly stays together without that, because I botched that. I was like, I don't need that much thread. Okay. We're just gonna call this done, y'all. Besides ironing it and stuff. So let me clean all of this up, and I'll move the camera and y'all can see the final. I made a mess of this, which unfortunately is a reality of sewing sometimes, is you botch stuff and then you're like, I'm just trying to recover. Sewing is really about recovery, y'all. How well can you recover from when you mess something up? Alright. So, the stitching will be a little awkward on the corners, just because of all the nonsense I've just had to do, but as a whole, you can kind of see. So we have our, I've cleaned up all the threads, so here's what we'll do. Let me swap cameras. Move it over here. go that way. Oh, sideways, upside down. I should probably actually look at it so y'all can see the right side up. So right side up with our lovely, lovely rainbow colored binding in. We turn it around, we have our nice basic background. I do have the bottom right a tag that I actually planned in advance, so yay us. So similar quilt to what you all have seen before, but with different colors this time around. Also, I think texture-wise, it looks a little funny, or not funny in a bad way, but like interesting because I did, let's see if I can bring it closer where you all can see it. Sorry. You can kind of see the stitching across the darker is I actually did the wavy lines across. All the other ones I've done them straight up and down. So it just gives it a slightly different look, like left to right instead of up down. So it was an adventure, especially there at the end. The quilt is done, yay! So this is all completed. All I'm gonna do is probably take a lint roller and iron to it tomorrow before I head out. But it will go to the person who commissioned it tomorrow, and then will get shipped to its final recipient after that, who will hopefully love it dearly. Oh. Alright. Move all this back so we can actually see each other. So hi! Okay. I'm gonna move my light too, because right now it's making it hard for me to see my chat. I'm like, where's my mouse? It's behind me. Bright side, downside of wireless mouse. You can very easily move it around and lose it. So, yes. So now that I've been entirely distracted, Quilt is done. Very excited. Thank you all so much for the kind compliments. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Besides the frustrating stuff and how not clean the corners are going to look compared to what I would want it to look, overall the quilt has turned out well. The front looks great. I really wish you all, I'll maybe snap a photo and put it up on Twitter or something, because I think the light unfortunately is washing out the pastel colors of the trim or of the binding. So I don't think y'all are seeing it in full, but hopefully people like it. So yes. Practice isn't done and give me. Yes. So let's just run through what's coming up. I will be at Regia in Boston this weekend, starting tomorrow. You'll see me doing events every single day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'm on 7 different things, so yay! And also, oh no, it'll be fine. I need to finish packing and prepping. But this quilt will go to its commissioner and then on to its final recipient this weekend, which means we will be, outside of the Quilt for Pirate, which I will probably be doing off stream, we're gonna play games for a bit. What games, I don't know, but we're gonna play games. So yeah, it's a busy but fun weekend ahead. It was very much a like, oh, maybe I'll get picked to be on a panel. That would be so nice. Gets the message, you volunteered for this, like, oh no. In fairness, one of them was I was an alternate option, and I was an alternate option, and then somebody dropped out, so I got added, and it'll be a lot of fun. And then, so that's this weekend. Tentative, still streaming on Monday, pending how we're feeling. I'm gonna aim to be back. Is that the one that was, I think I saw it on Apple Arcade, Patchwork, or is that a different game? I feel like I saw one that somebody was like, you should go play this, because it was on a platform I did not have. I did not, but I thought it looked cool. So tentative, maybe stream on Monday, just because if I'm not absolutely exhausted, it might be a short stream. It might just be just chatting, talking about everything at a Regia stream for like an hour. But my intent is not to get back too late so that I have a little bit of time to relax. I gotta pick up Susie, what have you, and then I have to go back to work the next day. So I'm trying to think, we're partway. So we will be back to Monday, Thursday, or not back to, we'll continue being doing Monday, Thursday for the next couple of weeks. Once we get into February, that will shift because I have a Thursday evening sewing class. But to start with, back as usual. As mentioned, I believe starting at the end of the month, the last Sunday of the month, is when we are going to kick off and have our first session/show of this Mass Effect actual play we'll be doing on Praxis channel. I am very excited. I don't know if I'm going to have an animal. I will tell you, Leaf, I thought about it where I was like, ooh, is there going to be an option that gives me an animal companion? Or am I just becoming a meme of myself always playing a character with an animal companion? Or attempting to get an animal companion. So we'll see, but that is going to be a limited run series. We have a set number of episodes that we're going to do or sessions we're going to do, but it'll be quite fun. We'll be playing that over a few months, so that'll be Sundays on Praxis channel, and then I think there's something else that's late January that I'm forgetting right now, but I'm sure I'll remember after I get back from Aresia. I have a couple of games that are short, like, I think, is it Submerged or Dread? I think it's Submerged, which is like if you sit down and play it, you can play it in like an hour and a half. So I have a couple of games that are like, we could do it in 1 to 2 streams. And then I have things like Detective Pikachu Returns, which I think is really only like a 10 to 12 hour game. So that could be, over the course of 2 weeks. So we'll knock out some games. I am going to continue to be working on sewing projects. Once we get into February, we might have the occasional, oh, I'm doing a sewing stream because I need to work on my homework for class. Y'all have been here before, you know how that goes. It's a fun meme. So yeah, so we're gonna have, I have a busy first few months of the year, but the big thing is getting through Aresia. So I'm trying to think if there was anything else where it's like, okay, Aresia, which I never made a button for on the Stream Deck, but which there is a command for. So Aresia, other stuff later this month that I'm forgetting besides there's something else in addition to the actual play, which I think it's in my planner and I'm blanking on it right now. But yeah, so all the things. So we completed a quilt. On one side, I keep doing this to myself. On one side, I'm like, oh, I should have just worked on it yesterday and been done with it. But the flip side of that is me going, yeah, but it was so nice last night, not like taking a break from being like, oh, I need to get all these things done, and just like sitting and reading a book and drinking wine and watching Pirates All Influencer Wrestling. That's it. Hey y'all, I'm gonna be on DC Lucer's channel on January 26th, Friday, for Tech Friday. That's what I was forgetting. I was like, there's something else, but I don't remember what. So I'm joining DC for Tech Friday on the 26th. And then I think it's that Sunday that'll be the Mass Effect game starts. But yeah, doing lots of things. Good job, DC, for popping out. I was like, there's something. I know it. I remember writing it into my planner so that it was on my schedule. And I'm absolutely forgetting right now. My mind is so caught up in Aresia stuff. Like, I didn't even actually start packing until today. So, Pirate, you're there. How's the temperature in the hotel? The hotel that, much of Aresia happens in the hotel. That they have the room block in as well, making use of like the rooms and the ballrooms and things like that, which I'm actually really excited that I'm decided to stay in the hotel there too, because that means I don't have to put on like heavy coats and things. I can literally be like, whatever I want to wear for the day, I don't have to go outside. I can just stay in here, which gives me a little more flexibility for what I pack and what I wear, or like less hassle of having to carry as much around. So I'm very, very excited. There's going to be a lot of things. So real quick, let me grab my keyboard that's all the way over here. you can see the full schedule there, but tomorrow night, 7 p.m., I'm going to be helping co-host the first night social, chatting about, goofing off, and I get to chat about that's my first time at Aresia, yay. And then at 8:30 p.m., I will be on the panel about self-care at conventions. For those of you who've seen me at cons before, you know I have feelings about this. And I think Snorlax is going to be the plush that goes with me to start with. Who knows what else I might buy while I'm there. Then on Saturday is my busiest day. At 4 p.m. I will be on a panel about what's in a name, artist, craft person, maker, crafter, chatting about not just kind of how you identify from a creative standpoint, but also the struggles and imposter syndrome that comes with it, which let me tell you, I have a lot to say about that, because it's definitely been a struggle, not just like what word you use to describe yourself, but also like whether you consider yourself legitimate or real, like am I a real crafter, or whatever the case may be. Then at 7, I'll be on a panel about what we've learned from gaming. So this is both video games and tabletop, talking about what are the lessons we've learned while at play, which I think is going to be a really interesting discussion based on our email thread so far. And then at 8:30, I'm going to be moderating a panel about making makers make. So getting people started from thinking about or talking about building things to actually creating them. Sunday will be Pirate and I's deaths live on stage. No, Sunday is the Chaos Alive and in Color, the live play of Dungeons and Dragons game using our characters from our multiplayer, our characters from the Baldur's Gate 3 multiplayer sessions. So Pirate and I are bringing our 2 characters into that game. Eugenio DM Jazzy Hands is joining us, poor soul, and Tanya is going to DM us through this. And this is what the sign... Now, I'm going to use the sign in multiple panels, but this is... The live play is what the sign is truly for. And I guarantee you, I shouldn't say I guarantee you, I'm fairly confident that having that sign and the way that I will use it will result in my death. And then finally on Monday at 11:30, I will be on a panel about making space for making. So talking a bit more about like how do you build your space to make, which was very interesting to be like, hey, you all know because you've seen it on stream, this space that I'm in is where I have been crafting and sewing and crocheting and what have you over the past since 2020. So we're going on 4 years now, and I've had to evolve the same space in different ways to make room when I went from just playing games to crocheting, and then from crocheting to also sewing, and now from sewing to also dice making. And in the progress, that's just the making portion. That's not even talking about the live streaming portion of it, which is a mess as always. But so that'll be the 7 things that I am officially taking part in. There is always the possibility that there will be some last minute changes, travel, things like that. A couple of people have already, flagged having delays and what have you, which is very unfortunate. So we never know if something will be canceled last minute because several panelists weren't able to make it, or if there's something additional where they're like, oh, you were one of our backups for this panel, we need you on it. Being like, oh, okay. Hopefully not. Oh God, I'm already doing 7. But that will be Aresia. I will probably try to be home late afternoon on Monday, and hoping to hop on, at least if nothing else, for a short stream just to chat about how the con went. And then back for the next couple weeks into our regular schedule. As mentioned, I'm going to be taking part in DC Lasser's Tech Friday on January 26th, and we're going to be talking about tech and maybe sewing things. And then we'll also, later that weekend on Praxis channel, be kicking off the Mass Effect actual play. More details on that to come soon because I have little memory. So more to come on that. But yeah, so that's all the things. It is almost 10 o'clock, which is longer than I intended to run, but I did not anticipate the struggles that we were going to have getting the binding on the quilt. That was all that was left, y'all, and that took so long. We had so many struggles, but it's fine. So I'm gonna take a quick look to see who might be live. And we're gonna raid on over. Oh, Fair is playing Baldur's Gate 3. Let's go join Fair. So let me switch us over to Stream is Ending. As always, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out and keeping me company. I do appreciate you spending your time here with me. And also helping me as I struggled through this quilt, because there was a lot of struggle going on. We are going to be raiding over to Fair Bear. Who is playing some Baldur's Gate 3. Fair is good people. She, her, and going through some nonsense. It sounds like a wonderful time. Thank you. I appreciate you all. I will make sure that Susie gets all of the head pats. If you're coming on over for the raid call is Lucky Raid with the Susie or any other hi or hello emote that you might have. As always, everyone, please be safe, be healthy, happy crafting, happy gaming. And if I do get to see you, or if you are going to be at a Aresia this weekend, please feel free to say hi. I will be wandering around like I do. Have a good one, all.